Hello everyone, it's Annie, and I'm having a good hair day today, so we're gonna film something. Take advantage of it. I decided to film this short video about how I read so many books, because granted, it is a pandemic, so that is probably affecting the amount of free time I have a lot, but I still work full-time, and, I have a lot of other things that I do, so I do have other commitments to take care of other than reading, but I seem to average about 20 books a month, which I think is a lot. So I'm going to tell you my secrets. I think they're pretty easy to do and will maybe help you increase how much you read. So let's get started. So first, I just want to say that I don't think it's necessarily good to read this much. It's not about the amount of books that you read, it's about how much you enjoy what you're reading. So if you're just gonna go read as many books as you can, or just pick the shortest books that you can because you want that number to be high, are you really enjoying it? I don't think so. And sometimes I feel like I can fall into that trap, but I think it's really just important to pick the books that you like, no matter whether it's 1,000 pages and will cut down on the amount you read for that month, or whether it's a short novella or even a short story. Honestly, the reason why I read so much is because I use it as a distraction from my thoughts. I need to be listening to a book at pretty much all times so that I can be distracted from my thoughts. So that's not necessarily good, guys. That's not really a good thing. That's not my only reason. I really, really love finding new stories and learning things, especially because I read about half fiction, half nonfiction a year. So I really, really enjoy learning things through reading nonfiction, learning about other people's experiences by reading diverse authors and authors who are different from me. So I think that's really important when you're increasing how much you read, to also increase the scope of what you're reading as well. Don't just read books from white male authors or only white authors. It's important to branch out. So my first tip, I think, is probably the biggest tip that there is. It is to listen to audiobooks. I listen to audiobooks as much as I can. I really don't like ebooks at all, but I do read them sometimes because most ARCs I get are ebooks, and sometimes my library doesn't have the audiobook available, so I need to read the ebook. So my situation is a little bit different because I live abroad and I don't have easy access to English hard copy books. Although I love reading hard copies much better than ebooks because they don't hurt my eyes as much. I really, really love audiobooks, especially because you can multitask while you're reading. I listen to audiobooks almost all day, except while I'm at work. I can drive while I listen to them. That's pretty much exclusively what I listen to while I'm driving. I cook, do my laundry, fold laundry, hang laundry. I can't listen to them while I'm vacuuming, but if I could, I would. I listen to them while taking a bath. Super relaxing. Listen to them while watering my flowers. Listen to them while just chilling out and laying down, trying to have a relaxing night. It's a really, really nice way to spend your time. And of course, you can listen to them at 1.5, even 2 times speed. I usually don't do that. Really, the highest that I go up to is 1.8. And that's kind of if I'm about the book and I just want to finish it. That doesn't usually happen. I usually stick to around 1.6. So yeah, if you listen to them at a higher rate of speed, you can finish more books. I have heard of people listening even faster, 3 times speed, but for me, that's just pretty much impossible. I can't absorb what they're saying fast enough. So 1.5 for me is about normal speaking speed, because audiobook narrations are recorded really slowly. So 1.5 is about normal general speaking speed. 1.6 is a little bit faster, but it's still easy to absorb and easy to understand. But if anything faster than that works for you, by all means go for it. My next two tips kind of go together. The first one is to join a book club, whether online or in person when it's possible, or buddy read a book together. Because if you are in a group or buddy reading a book, it gives you more accountability to actually finish the book. And it actually, in my opinion, it makes it more fun because you have someone to discuss the book with, and it's not all just input. You can actually output your thoughts and opinions. In that same vein, I'd say make a booktube because that same rule applies. You can say your thoughts and opinions about all these books, although it's not directly to one or a small group of people, it's to whoever is watching. But I think that personally that really motivated me. I haven't really buddy read anything, but I've been a part of a couple online book clubs, like a self-help book club and groups on Goodreads that read one book a month and things like that. And I think even if you don't read every book that they read, it's still a nice community to be a part of, and it will motivate you to read more. And along the same lines, I think joining book challenges like the Reading Women Challenge, Book Riot's Read Harder Challenge, etc. can really motivate you because sometimes it's hard to choose what you want to read, right? There are so many books out there, so how are you supposed to choose? So the prompts included in reading challenges can really help you find what you want to read because usually they recommend books that can fit these prompts, and also along with these challenges you can talk with people who are also doing the challenge. So it's like a challenge and a book club combined. It's really fun. I'm really enjoying doing the Reading Harder Challenge and the Reading Women Challenge this year. I'm also doing the Buzzwordathon, and they've been really fun. I really love that it gives me a certain number of books. Like the Reading Harder Challenge has 24 prompts, the Buzzwordathon has one prompt for each month, and I think that's really helpful because it gives me some books that I know I have to read each month, but then I'm also allowed to mood read and just pick whatever. So that's really fun for me, and it's a good mix. Another tip is to read books that you're actually interested in. I know this might seem obvious, but I think a lot of people get really discouraged about reading because they really hated the books that they were forced to read during school. They just never found books that they liked. But there are books for anybody and everybody out there. If you like cooking, then read cookbooks, that counts. Read Julia Child's biography, read books about food science, read food memoirs. There are some great ones out there. The list is endless. If you like animals, there are so many pet memoirs out there that are really enjoyable to read. If you like comics, read comics. Those are so fun. You can read any age group if you're an adult, but you really enjoy middle grade. No harm in that at all. That's totally great. And if you enjoy what you read, then you will read more. That's just how it is. So for example, I love sci-fi, so I try and read some sci-fi every month because it's just so enjoyable for me that I feel like, oh wow, like it reinvigorates me. If I feel like I might be going into a reading slump, I really like picking up a fun sci-fi that I know I'm going to love, and it'll re-inspire me to read more. So my next tip is to always have a book with you. That means if you have a bag big enough to carry a physical book with you at all times, that's amazing. I don't do that, but I have the Libby app from my library, which is also one of my greatest discoveries ever. I love Libby. It lets you download ebooks and audiobooks for free from your library. Of course, if you use Audible or any other app like Libro FM, whatever, that's great too. But you need to make sure you always have a book downloaded. I usually make sure I have one audiobook and one ebook downloaded on my Libby app at all times. And by downloaded, I mean that it's already on the app. It's taking up storage space on your phone so that you don't have to rely on having Wi-Fi or data where you're going. So for example, if you're stuck in a doctor's waiting room and you don't know the Wi-Fi password, but you're there for like an hour, which has happened to me, I have an audiobook with me or an ebook. And also, if you're gonna listen to an audiobook, don't forget your earbuds. I have done that and it's very sad, which is also why I usually have both formats, because if I'm in the middle of a book and I forget my earbuds, it's very sad and I want to continue it. So having both formats is really useful, and it lets you use your time as wisely as possible. Because like if I'm waiting online for something, just waiting anywhere, waiting for the bus, whatever, I can just take out my phone and read like a couple pages of my ebook, and that really adds up. So use your time wisely. My final tip is more of a technique, and it is to learn to speed read. Now, I'm not really sure how to describe this exactly, but when I read without listening to an audiobook, I read the sentence or a chunk of words as a whole. I don't read each individual word, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense or if everybody does that. I'm not sure. But it's not skimming because I get all the information. You read a big chunk of words or a sentence as a whole instead of each individual word. Of course, if there's a word I don't understand, then that's a different story. That just makes it go so much faster, and it's a really, really good technique to know. Not just in reading books, but also like taking tests and stuff. That's really useful. Alright guys, I hope this quickly thrown together video was helpful to somebody out there. I again want to emphasize that I'm not saying that you have to read X number of books to be considered a reader or anything like that. Really, if you read one book a year, you're a reader, and that's amazing because that's more than most people do. Reading is so important, and any amount that you do is wonderful. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more bookish videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye!